Last class, we discussed that a particle, when it is in motion, some waves are associated with it, not a single wave. We assumed that. So, if it is a single wave, then the wave velocity is more greater than the light velocity, more greater than the particle velocity. So, particle velocity is very less, and the wave velocity which is associated with the particle is more. So it is a contradictory statement. It is a contradiction. So to avoid this contradiction, they assumed that the number of waves are associated with the particle when it is in motion. So with the small variation of frequency, those waves are interference with each other and will give the some packet. Let us say some packet. So why I am saying it is a packet? Because of the interference pattern of the waves will give the some structure, the regulated some structured, so that I am calling this as a packet. So within the packet, the particle can exist. So here, if whether that phenomena, whether that assumption, what we may, that the more number of waves are present with the particle. So whether that is a true or false. To find out that one, here we are going to give an explanation for the velocities, the group of waves. So if the group of waves are present, then what is the velocity of the group velocity and what is the phase velocity. So here the two types of phase and group velocities are there. We can discuss about these twos. Interference experiments provides the material particles similar to the light have an dual nature, wave and particle nature. So here we have the two equations. Let us consider a two wave equations. So whether the group velocity, to calculate the velocity of the group of waves. So here let us say assume the wave equation y is equals to a sine 2 pi vt minus x by lambda. As simple as that, a sine omega t minus kx, where k is equals to 2 pi by lambda, right? So where is the propagation constant, that is which is equals to 2 pi by lambda, omega is equals to 2 pi nu. So phase velocity or wave velocity. So just here be cautious that phase and group velocity both are different, and here we are going to see the phase velocity. When a single wave of definite wavelength travels in a medium, its velocity of propagation in a media is known as the wave velocity or the phase velocity. If only one wave is present associated with the one wave, you are associated with the particle, so that wave velocity is called the phase velocity. So when a single wave of a definite wavelength travels in a media, its velocity of propagation in a medium is known as the wave velocity or the particle velocity, phase velocity. Consider a plane wave whose displacement is y and travel along the plus x direction, which is expressed as a y is equals to a sine omega t minus kx. So the ratio of omega and k is defined as the wave velocity. Omega by k is equals to wave velocity, that is equals to phase velocity. Let us say here we are calling wave velocity as phase velocity. So Vp is equals to omega by k. So how it comes? Let us say we know that the wave velocity Vp is equals to nu lambda, where nu is equals to 2 pi nu, where nu omega is equals to 2 pi nu, nu is equals to omega by 2 pi, lambda is equals to 2 pi by k. 2 pi will get cancelled and omega by k will remain. So that the phase velocity Vp is equals to omega by k. The quantity omega minus omega t minus kx represents the phase of the wave. So phase of the wave. If the phase is constant, then omega t minus kx is also constant. So by differentiating with respect of time, so omega t, so already we know that a sin omega t minus kx is a general wave equation. So in that omega t minus kx is a phase, that is which is constant. So if the constant is, the derivative of the constant with respect of time is always 0. So here we are k dx by dt minus omega is equals to 0, or Vp is equals to dx by dt, and that is omega by k. So here what is dp? Vp is equals to dx by dt, that is equals to omega by k. In a similar way, in this way also we are getting the phase velocity by differentiating the phase, that is omega t minus kx with respect of time. So here the wave velocity or phase velocity we calculated, Vp is equals to omega by k. Now we are going to calculate the group velocity. So group velocity is the, so when a particle is moving, then the number of waves are associated with it. Then the combination of these waves will give a pulse. So here by combining these, by interference of these waves, the slightly changed frequencies or wavelengths, these waves are combined and will give the interference pattern. That interference pattern, it looks like say wave packet. We can assume that as a wave packet or group of waves. If this group has moving with the velocity of the particle, so because here when the waves are associated with the particle, then the particle velocity and this group of wave velocities should be same. So here now we are going to, whether it is same or not, we are going to see next. So this is the group velocity. This is called group velocity. So here we are going to consider two waves which are associated with the particle. So let us say y1 is equals to a cos k1x minus omega 1t is the first wave, and the y2 is equals to a cos k2x minus omega 2t is the second wave. So here the first wave velocity Vp1 is equals to omega 1 by k1, and the second wave velocity is Vp2 is equals to omega 2 by k2. Here are the Vp1 and Vp2 are the phase velocities of individual waves. So here now just you see here the pattern of the waves, the first wave and the second wave. The combination of these two waves will give the some structured interference structure. So in this structured interference structure, so the particle can exist. The particle can have the freedom to occupy in this space. So when the two waves are combined, we are getting the interference pattern like this. So in this wave interference pattern, the particle can exist. So here in this way, so this is I am calling as a wave packet, the superposition of two waves. This is wave packet. So by combination of these two, now we will go to see the limitations. By applying the limitations, so is equals limitations for the wave equations. So the amplitude is equals to 0 at t is equals to 0, right? So where at x is equals to 0 means amplitude is equals to 0 at t is equals to 0. The displacement of the resultant wave due to the superposition of two waves is given by, so already we know that two waves are associated with the particle. So y is equals to the combination of two waves, y is equals to y1 plus y2, that is equals to a cos k1x minus omega 1t plus a cos k2x minus omega 2t. So that is equals to cos a plus cos b. So here 2a cos k2 minus k1 by 2x minus omega 2 minus omega 1 by 2 into t cos k1 plus k2 by 2 x minus omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2 into t. So just you see, observe this one, a plus b by 2 cos a plus cos b. So just you analyze it. If you want, just pass the button and just you analyze whether that equation is right or wrong. Just you see that. You can check it by pausing the video. If the propagation number and frequencies differ only by differential amounts, then k1 2 minus k1 is equals to dk and omega 2 minus omega 1 is equals to dw. k1 plus k2 by 2 is equals to k1 and omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2 is equals to omega 2. Here why we are taking like this means the difference in the frequency and the difference in the constant k, that is propagation constant, are very less, so that the only we are calculating the difference, but whereas when we are calculating the average we are taking as it the same. Therefore the resultant wave is y is equals to 2a cos dk x by 2 minus d omega t by 2 cos k1x minus omega 1 t. So here how we are written that the above equation is, here the formula is given, just you check it out with this one and later on we move. So the resultant wave is shown in the figure as 2.1. So the depends on the superposition of the wave yield the envelope waves, so that each these group of would be moving with the x direction, the velocity known as the group velocity. So when the waves, the combination of waves is moving with the velocity, that is called group velocity. So here we are equating, by equating those things we are getting the equation 2.7. Already we know that the second cosine term represents the original wave. So whereas the second cosine term means cos k1x minus omega 1t, already the initial one. So second only the amplitude part, 2a cos dk by dkx by 2 minus d omega t by 2, that is the change we are going to consider, that one, the first part of the equation. So that is amplitude. So amplitude varies with the x and t. So x and t is variables and the amplitude is depends on the x and t. The variation of amplitude is called the modulation of the wave and has a maximum wavelength 4 pi by dk and the frequency d omega by 4 pi. So that is the maximum called as modulation. The variation in the amplitude is called modulation. So that here the group velocity, we know that group velocity Vg is equals to 4 pi by dk and d omega by 4 pi. 4 pi will get cancelled and Vg is equals to d omega by dk. Here why I am taking like this, group velocity Vg is equals to, already we know that Vp is equals to phase value omega by k. So here the two waves with a slightly change in the frequencies, so that the combination of two waves will give the another wave. So with that another wave I am taking the group velocity, that y is equals to, from these parameters I am taking the y equation, that is y is equals to y1 plus y2. In that equation I am taking the group velocity term. Group velocity Vg is equals to d omega by dk. So now what is d omega? So there is a change in small change in the omega and a small change in the k, propagation constant and the angular frequency. Now we are going to prove that group velocity is equals to the particle velocity. So according to the Einstein equation, we know that E is equals to mc square and V is equals to P by m. So we know that P is equals to mv, V is equals to P by m. So that P by m is equals to PC square by mc square. So just we are dividing c square on numerator and denominator. So that PC square by mc square is equals to mc square is equals to E. So that PC square by E. So let us now find the group velocity. From the relation P is equals to h by lambda, mv is equals, that is the de Broglie wave equation, and E is equals to h nu. So that the k is equals to 2 pi. The k is equals to 2 pi by lambda and omega is equals to 2 pi nu. So k is equals to 2 pi, where lambda is equals to h by p. So 2 pi p by h, where omega is equals to 2 pi nu. Nu is equals to E by h. So k is equals to Vg is equals to d omega by dk. Already we derived that one. Vg is equals to d omega by dk. Hence d omega by dk is equals to dv by dp. So to evaluate this, we use the relativistic energy momentum relation. E square is equals to P square C square plus m naught square C power 4, which implies 2E dE is equals to 2PC square dP. So Vg is equals to dE by dP, that is equals to 2PC square by E. So finally we got the equation Vg is equals to dE by dP, that is equals to PC square by E. So here we can write in the place of E mc square. So C square will get cancelled, and P by M. So P is equals to, already we know that, mv. So m will get cancelled and only we have V only. So finally we got the equation Vg is equals to V. So from this equation we shown that the group velocity is equals to the particle velocity. Here we can conclude that a particle, when it is moving, it has a number of waves. It consists a number of waves traveled along the particle, and the combination of these waves will give the group of waves. We'll call a group of waves. The combination of these waves are called a group of waves. This group of waves velocity is equals to the particle velocity. So here we are going to see the relation between the phase velocity and group velocity. The phase velocity Vp is equals to omega by k, or omega is equals to Vp k. The group velocity Vg is equals to d omega by dk, that is equals to d by dk of Vp k. So here Vp plus k into dVp by dk, but k is equals to 2 pi by lambda, so that dk is equals to minus 2 pi by lambda square d lambda. So that is equals to Vg is equals to Vp plus 2 pi by lambda dVp by minus 2 pi by lambda square d lambda. Just you carefully observe here all the terms, each and every term. Finally we got the equation Vg is equals to Vp plus 2 pi by lambda into dVp by minus 2 pi by lambda square d lambda. So here Vg is equals to Vp minus lambda dVp by d lambda. So finally we got the equation Vg is equals to Vp minus lambda dVp by d lambda. Here this equation shows that group velocity is less than the phase velocity in dispersive media. So in the medium, which velocities and velocity is frequency dependent. So if the velocity in the medium, we know that the velocity of the wave will change in the one media to the other media. So here similarly in the this case also the velocity of the wave is depends on the medium. So that is omega by k is not constant. So in a non-dispersive media, so in non-dispersive media means there is no change in the medium. All waves, so all wavelength travel with the same speed. So that in the non-dispersive media, dVp by d lambda will give 0. dVp by d lambda is equals to 0. Hence we have Vg is equals to Vp. So here we can conclude that we are shown that Vg is equals to V and group velocity, which is equals to the particle velocity. And similarly, the group velocity is equals to the phase velocity. So by this conclusion, we can assume that the group of waves are associated with the particle. It is not a single wave is associated. Here is the number of waves are associated with the particle when it is in motion. So here it is fixed, the number of waves are present with the particle. Here the most interesting experiment was done by Davison and Germer. So the experiment name is itself, it is called Davison and Germer experiment. So this is why it is so important, means already we studied that the particle has a waves, the number of waves. If the particle when it is in motion, the number of waves are present, then the diffraction pattern also exhibit. So particles has to exhibit the diffraction property. So the diffraction property which is belongs to the waves only. But if the particle is moving, then the waves are associated with the particle, then those particles has to exhibit the property of diffraction. So this experiment will give the proof that particles also will give the diffraction property when they are in motion. This is the, here you can see this is the experimental setup. So in this, the filament, through the filament, the number of the generation of electrons are there. So the generation of electrons will give a train of the electrons. So by these electrons, the electron beam will incident on the target. So when the electron beam is incident on the target, electrons are the particles. Here the electrons are the particles. So the electrons are hit the target. When incident on the target, from the target electrons are scattered in different directions. Electrons are scattered in different directions. So in the, when you observe the pattern, the scattered pattern of electrons, at some points the more number of electrons are present, at some points there is no electrons. So when the electrons are scattered, if it is not showing the diffraction pattern, then at all angles electrons should be present. But whereas in this experiment they observed at certain points only the electrons are combined, accumulated. At certain points the electrons are not present. So this is the setup of the Davison and Germer experiment. So what is the theory behind this experiment? Just let us see that. So it consists of electron gun that provides a collimated beam of electrons whose energy is found from the accelerating potential. So with that, the electronic gun, the energy of the electrons we can calculate the potential with the help of potential. So the electron scatters from Nicol target, which could be rotated about the axis perpendicular to the paper. The scattered electrons move in different directions. The angular distribution is measured by electron detector such as Faraday cylinder, so which is connected to the galvanometer. So here at certain points we can calculate the how many number of electrons are scattered in particular direction with the help of the Faraday galvanometer, Faraday cylinder. So in this way, so just you see, you can just you observe the above figure and how the electrons are coming and how the electrons are scattered and how the electrons, the intensity of the electrons and how the current can be calculated. Just you observe it. Now I am going to give the resultant part here in this resultant part. Now accelerating potential V is applied to the electron gun and the arbitrary angle theta. With the theta angle, it is fixed between the incident electron beam and the line joining the target and detector. The angle theta is varied by keeping the detector at various positions. So you can change the target, so the incident angle will also changes. So the angle theta is varied by keeping the detector at various position. Then plots the current graph between the theta and the accelerating potential. So here some graphs are showing at 44 volts the current in the Faraday galvanometer is showing the graph at 48 volts the graph and 54 volts the graph at 50 degrees angle and 60 volts some other angle. So here we are able to see that at 54 volts at 50 degrees angle the maximum electrons are scattered, so that with this graph we can come into a conclusion that electrons exhibit the diffraction property. So this will give the proof that particles also have the waves. Waves are associated with the moving particle. So that here at 54 volts at 50 degrees incident angle, the potential gradually disappears. The higher potential of the bump is gradually disappears. So the prominent bump indicates wave nature of electron. The prominent means here the maximum diffraction. Diffracted electrons are accumulated in particular direction at particular voltage difference. This is the proof of the de Broglie wave equation. Already we know that for the charged particle, right, when it is moving a charged particle with a potential V, then the velocity of that particle, the wavelength of that particle, lambda is equals to 12.26 root of by root V angstrom units. So here the root V is equals to 54 volts. Then lambda is found to be 1.67. So he is known as the X-ray analysis of the nickel crystal acts as a plane diffraction grating with grating space D is equals to 0.91. So here they calculated with the de Broglie wave equation that lambda is equals to 12.26 by root V. So here we can calculating the measurements, what are the wavelengths of the electrons, and this is also is verified with another equation. So here according to the de Broglie we came to know that the wavelength of the particle of electron lambda is equals to 12.26 by root V, where V is equals to 54 volts, and the wavelength of that particle is 1.67 angstrom units. So from the Bragg's law we know that the diffraction equation n lambda is equals to 2d sin theta. So here the theta value is 50 degrees and d is equals to 0.91. So here the corresponding angle of the incident electron beam is 65 degrees, which is 180 degrees minus 50 divided by 2 is equals to 65 degrees. Therefore from the Bragg's equation 2d n lambda is equals to 2d sin theta. For the first order n is equals to 1, we get lambda is equals to 2d sin theta, that is equals to 2 multiply of 0.91 angstrom units, that is into 60 sin 65, that is equals to 1.65 angstrom units. So when we calculating the wavelength with the help of the Bragg's law as well as the from the de Broglie wave equation from the experimental side. So here the both wave velocities can be compared each other, so that it is a very prominent and correct proof that even the particles are exhibit the wave nature. Here we have another experiment to prove that particles shows the wave nature, that is double slit experiment. So in the double slit experiment is similar to the Young's double slit experiment in optics. So this experiment can be done with the electron gun with the electrons. So passing through the small slit S1 and S2, just you see the observe the figure, the electrons are coming from the filament, these with the small area, small hole. So when the small hole from the is coming, the electrons are coming from the small hole. So we are keeping two slits, S1 and S2. So from the slits the electrons will pass. So when the electrons are passing from S1 and S2 slits, right? So we can see those electrons are incident on the screen P. So when you observe the screen, the electrons are combined, accumulated. Electrons are accumulated at different places, not as continuous. So when you see that pattern of those, the electrons pattern, so this is similar to the wave interference pattern. So based on this wave interference pattern, so we can conclude that the electrons also show the property of interference. So here in this experiment they did the same, and they did the same and they observed the interference pattern of electrons, so as similar in light. So here how they calculated the wavelengths with the angle. So here the d is the distance between the S1 and S2. So d sin theta is equals to lambda by 2, that is h by p. So h by p is the momentum. So d sin theta, n lambda is equals to d sin theta is nothing but n lambda is equals to adjacent minimal determination form d sin theta is equals to lambda by 2, that is h by p. So lambda is the de Broglie wavelength, electron wave, and p is the momentum of the electron. Where theta is small, we have theta is equals to h by 2pd. So in this connection, with this experiment, the interference pattern also can be drawn from electrons, which are the particles. So with these two experiments, we strongly concluded that even the particles shows the waves properties. So in the Young's double slit experiment, the particles are showing the interference property, and whereas in the another experiment, Davison and Germer experiment, electrons are showing the diffraction property. So with these two experiments, we can conclude that the electrons exhibit the wave nature. So particles, not only the electrons, even any particle which is in motion, so those particles are shown the wave nature. Next we are going to, in the next class we are going to wave packets, study about the wave packets.